We are living in the golden age of distraction. Our attention is constantly bombarded by notifications, messages, emails, trends, and videos. The internet, once a tool, now feels like a force that controls our lives. It is inevitable that we feel lost, overwhelmed, anxious, but what does this say about the human condition? In today's episode, let's explore how the internet reveals our deepest existential struggles. Welcome to this channel. This is a space where we discuss existential ideas to help you make sense of your experience in this chaotic world. Today, we are discussing the internet and its impact on our lives. If that sounds interesting, consider subscribing. It really helps me. We begin with a quote by Jean-Paul Sartre. "Man is condemned to be free," he wrote, and in today's digital age, this feels more relevant than ever. The internet has given us more choices than any generation before us. In the realm of entertainment, we can choose from hundreds of TV shows and movies. Online shopping allows us to pick from millions of products. With freelancing, we can select from thousands of job opportunities. And in dating, there is an abundance of choices, but with freedom comes a new set of problems. Søren Kierkegaard, often called the first existentialist, spoke of the dizziness of freedom, the overwhelming anxiety we feel when confronted with too many choices. On the internet, this dizziness is multiplied endlessly, from what to watch on streaming platforms, to which career path to follow, to the simple act of choosing how to present ourselves online. Each choice feels infinite, and yet each one seems to matter, leaving us restless and unsatisfied. Martin Heidegger warned that technology can pull us away from authentic existence, reducing us to passive consumers, distracted from the deeper questions of being. Scroll through social media, and we see exactly that. Hours vanish as we drown in trends, memes, and endless feeds, while our authentic selves are quietly pushed aside. But let's come back to that quote by Jean-Paul Sartre. "Man is condemned to be free." What does it mean? Sartre was saying that humans aren't born into a fixed state of being. We don't inherit our identity from our parents or our culture. Rather, he argues, we enter the world as pure potentialities. We are nothing definite, and this gives us the freedom to create our own essence through our choices and actions. But with this freedom comes a heavy burden of responsibility. As Sartre says, we are condemned to be free. Why? Because we can't escape the consequences of our choices. Every decision we make, whether big or small, adds to our identity, and thus every choice is a step towards becoming who we are. One thing the internet has done is highlight this existential struggle. Consider social media. These platforms thrive on presenting us with an endless array of choices, each designed to capture our attention and make us stay longer. From deciding what filters to apply to our selfies, to selecting the perfect caption, every click, every swipe becomes another opportunity to shape our online persona. But this constant choice, this effort to craft an identity for online consumption, leaves us feeling strangely empty. We curate our lives to project a certain image, but in doing so, we lose sight of our authentic selves. Jean-Paul Sartre calls this phenomenon bad faith. It happens when we deny our freedom and responsibility by pretending that we are defined by roles or masks. Social media, with its emphasis on appearances, its rewards for engagement, and its potential for creating unreal identities, is a breeding ground for bad faith. We slip into bad faith when we start to believe the lie that we are our online avatars. We forget that behind the screen, the filter, the carefully constructed post, there is a real person with real feelings, hopes, and dreams. When we live in bad faith, we stop being the author of our own life story. Instead, we play the character society, or the algorithm wants us to play. Heidegger warned that technology reduces us to mere consumers, but it is up to us to reclaim our agency. Recognize when the relentless choices and feedback loops of the internet are pushing us towards bad faith, and then choose authenticity. That means making conscious decisions about what we want to consume, what we want to share, and what kind of online identity we want to cultivate. There is another way to look at this. Perhaps the dizzying array of choices on the internet is not just a consequence of technology, but also of our own nature. Our desire for novelty, our need for stimulation, and our longing for connection all contribute to the choices we make online. The internet simply provides a platform for these fundamental desires. Camus once wrote, "There is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide." Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. The internet, in a sense, offers us a virtual space to explore this question. The ease with which we can disconnect, the anonymity that social media sometimes provides, and the multitude of distractions available all give us a way to distance ourselves from the seriousness of life. We can log off and return to the world refreshed. We can engage in online communities without revealing our true identities. We can binge-watch shows without facing the emptiness of our own lives. The internet, therefore, acts as a kind of testing ground for Camus's concept of revolt. Camus argued that the truly free person is one who rejects the absurd by living passionately and authentically. In the context of the internet, this might mean recognizing the absurd nature of some online experiences, refusing to take them seriously, and instead finding joy and meaning in the real world. It might mean using the internet to connect with others in a meaningful way. to create, to learn, or to engage with the world around us. Revolt, therefore, becomes a way to reclaim our freedom and to live authentically in the face of the absurdity of life and the internet. Another interesting point is that the internet magnifies the sense of meaninglessness that Albert Camus associated with the absurd. Think about it. Fake news spreads faster than truth. Outrage cycles burn bright and fade. Viral trends erupt and vanish within hours. And memes become cultural touchstones before being forgotten. In the grand scheme of things, much of what we invest our time and energy into online will likely be forgotten. The internet, therefore, can feel like a vast exercise in futility. It can feel like we are chasing shadows, spreading information that will quickly be lost in the algorithm's black hole, or engaging in debates that seem to lead nowhere. This feeling of futility can be disheartening and even demoralizing. It can make us question the purpose of our online interactions and leave us wondering why we bother. But Camus would remind us that in acknowledging absurdity, we reclaim power. He spoke of Sisyphus, condemned to push a boulder up a hill forever, and insisted we must imagine him happy, finding meaning in the act itself. Similarly, in our digital lives, instead of endlessly seeking validation in likes and followers, we can learn to embrace the absurd rhythm of the internet without letting it define us. We can find joy in the creative process, in the connections we make, or in the knowledge we share. We can choose to see the internet not as a place of futility, but as a space of possibility. And finally, think about how the internet affects our everyday choices. Take, for example, the trend towards instant gratification. With services like fast fashion, food delivery, and streaming platforms, we can have what we want when we want it. This instant access can feel incredibly liberating, but it also blurs the line between what is essential and what is merely desirable. The internet becomes a space where we are constantly tempted to buy things we don't need, to consume content we don't care about, and to chase fleeting trends that offer temporary pleasure. This constant influx of easily accessible things can make it difficult to appreciate what we already have. It can lead to a sense of dissatisfaction and a feeling that something is missing. In this context, the internet becomes a mirror reflecting our tendency to seek pleasure immediately and in excess. It holds up a magnifying glass to our weaknesses, reminding us of the fine line between indulging our desires and letting them consume us. The challenge then is to navigate the internet with mindfulness, to recognize when instant gratification is taking over, and to pause and reflect before making impulsive choices. It is in these moments of reflection that we reclaim our freedom to choose what truly matters to us. Sartre ended his essay, Existentialism is a Humanism, with these words: man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. Thus, existentialism is a call to arms. It is a call to revolt against the absurd. The internet is here to stay, and it is up to us to decide how we will engage with it. Will we succumb to the pressures of instant gratification, the allure of social media, and the absurdity of the digital world? Or will we rise to the existential challenge, embracing our freedom, cultivating our authenticity, and living our lives on our own terms? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. It really helps me. Also, send me a message and let me know what you thought. If you are interested in reading more, I have an article on my blog. Thanks for watching. Take care.